Okay, so everyone knows keeping up with all the ways our data can be compromised is a full-time job these days. And today we're diving into something that really ups the ante. I mean, think about this. What if just receiving a message was enough to compromise your whole phone?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night.
Right. Talk about unsettling. We're talking about zero-click hacks. And specifically, a new one targeting WhatsApp.
Zero click meaning you don't even have to click a link or open a file.
Exactly. It's an attack that exploits flaws in how your phone processes data in the background before you even see anything on your screen.
Like a thief slipping something in your pocket before you even realize they're there.
Exactly. Okay, so we're basing our deep dive today on a Forbes article from February 4th, 2025, titled, Meta Confirms WhatsApp Hack Act Now to Stay Safe.
So first things first, how does this thing actually work?
Well, it gets pretty technical, but essentially it takes advantage of vulnerabilities in how the app handles certain types of data.
So like a weakness in the code. Right. And the attackers can exploit that weakness to inject malicious code into your device.
And boom, your phone's compromised.
Pretty much.
And this wasn't just some random attack, right? They were going after specific people.
Exactly. Meta has confirmed this was a targeted attack, focused on people they considered high risk, like journalists and members of civil society.
So basically anyone who might be a thorn in the side of certain powerful entities.
You could say that.
And what's the name of the spyware? The article mentioned something called Graphite.
Yeah, Graphite. It's developed by an Israeli company called Paragon Solutions.
And Meta's taking legal action against them.
That's right.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a spy thriller. Now, this Graphite spyware, it reminds me of something we've talked about before, Pegasus.
Oh, yeah, definitely some parallels there.
So can you remind our listeners what Pegasus is all about?
Well, Pegasus is another type of spyware that can basically access everything on your phone, including encrypted messages.
Even on apps like WhatsApp and Signal.
Yep. Even though
So much for end-to-end encryption. I mean, I know nothing is 100% secure, but that's still pretty unnerving to think about.
Yeah, it definitely raises some serious concerns about the future of online privacy.
Okay, so if even our encrypted messages aren't safe, where do we go from here?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We'll dig into some potential solutions in just a bit.
Sounds good. Stay tuned, folks, because this conversation is just getting started.
It really does make you wonder, if something like this can happen on WhatsApp, I mean, what's next?
Right. What about all the other apps we use every day? Are any of them truly safe?
Well, I think the key takeaway here is that security is a constant evolution. There will always be people trying to find and exploit vulnerabilities, and we have to adapt right along with them.
So basically, it's not a matter of IVIC and an attack happens, but W-A-10 ye gan.
Pretty much.
Okay, so let's get practical. We'd established that even encrypted messages aren't foolproof. So what can we actually do to mitigate these risks?
Well, one of the most important things is awareness. The more we understand about these threats, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves.
Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about some specific steps people can take. The article mentioned something called lockdown mode that Apple introduced for iPhones.
Yeah, lockdown mode is a pretty powerful feature for users who might be targets of sophisticated spyware like Graphite.
So it's like a super security setting.
You could say that. It basically locks down your phone's functionality to prevent attacks.
Interesting. Could you give some examples of what it actually does?
Sure. So, for example, it blocks most attachments and messages, disables complex web technologies that could be used for exploits, and prevents your phone from connecting to unknown Wi-Fi networks.
So it basically puts your phone in a digital safe, trading off some convenience for a big boost in security.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense for people who are potential targets. But what about the rest of us? Are there any everyday things we can do to protect ourselves?
Absolutely. And one of the simplest but most effective things is to keep your devices updated. Those software updates often include security patches that address known vulnerabilities.
Oh, so like those annoying notifications that pop up all the time.
Yep, those are actually your friends.
I'll try to remember that next time I'm tempted to ignore them.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Another important thing is to be mindful of what you click on and what you download. Don't open emails or attachments from unknown senders.
Right, that's basic internet safety 101.
Exactly. And be wary of clicking links, even if they appear to come from someone you know.
Because it could be a phishing scam.
Exactly.
So we have to be like digital detectives scrutinizing everything that comes our way.
In a way, yes. It's all about developing good digital hygiene habits.
You know, it's actually pretty impressive that Meta publicly acknowledged this attack. And they're even taking legal action against the spyware developer. Seems like they're taking this threat seriously.
I agree their transparency is commendable, and it sets a good example for other tech companies.
We need more of that, for sure. So it seems like we're talking about a delicate balance here between security and convenience.
Absolutely. It's a constant challenge to find that sweet spot.
We want platforms that are both easy to use and impenetrable. But that's not always easy to achieve.
You got it.
It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it. I mean, sophisticated spyware, encrypted messages that aren't as secure as we thought. It feels like a digital minefield out there.
Yeah, it's easy to feel that way, but I think the important thing to remember is that we're not powerless.
Right. Knowledge is power, like you said.
Exactly. So let's focus on what we can do.
Okay, so we've talked about lockdown mode, keeping our software updated, and being careful about what we click on. But for those who want to take things a step further, what else can we do?
Well, one area to explore is your DNS settings.
DNS?
Yeah, domain name system. Basically, it's the phone book of the internet.
Yeah.
It translates those easy-to-remember website names into the numerical IP addresses that computers use.
Okay, so how does that tie into security?
So by default, your DNS requests are often handled by your internet service provider.
Right.
But you can switch to a privacy-focused DNS service that encrypts your DNS queries and prevents your ISP from tracking your browsing activity.
Oh, so it's a VPN, but for your DNS requests.
Exactly.
Adding an extra layer of anonymity.
Yep. There are some good ones out there, like Cloudflare's 1.1, 1.1, or Quad 9.
Okay, good to know. What about browser security? Anything we can do there?
Absolutely. Modern browsers have a lot of security features that people don't even know about.
Like what?
Well, you can adjust your cookie settings to block third-party trackers, enable stricter security settings for certain websites, and even install security extensions.
So we can customize our browsing experience for better security.
Exactly. And you can choose the level of security that's right for you. If you're super privacy conscious, you can really lock things down.
And if I'm not quite that concerned, I can find a happy medium.
Right. It's all about finding the right balance for your needs.
I like that.
Yeah.
Taking control and being proactive.
Exactly.
We're covering a lot of ground today. From the specifics of this WhatsApp hack to broader strategies for staying safe online, I think the main takeaway is this. We shouldn't let fear paralyze us.
I agree. We can choose to be informed, empowered, and proactive.
Absolutely. Well said. All right, folks, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of zero-click hacks and digital security. We hope you found this conversation informative and empowering. Remember, knowledge is your first line of defense. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay